Welcome everyone to your weekly pick a card reading for Monday the 20th to Sunday the 26th of March, or for whenever you come across this reading, as the messages here are timeless and they are meant to reach you as and when you need them. Okay everyone, so we have pole number 1, pole number 2, pole number 3 and pole number 4. We have the blue quartz for pole number 1, we have the serpentine for pole number 2, we have the mookaite for pole number 3, and we have the jade for pole number 4. So 1, 2, 3 and 4. Please, my friends, select as many piles as you feel drawn to. Select by pile number, by crystal, by just pure intuition, whatever calls you. I'm sure there'll be a message that Spirit's trying to get across to you this week in any of these piles that you pick. Just remember, you will retain the information that you need. I find that, we tend to remember things that we need to remember, and that which is probably not really meant for you, because these are general readings, you'll probably find it just won't hold. You'll just let that part go naturally. Apply the energies as and where they fit in your life. So again, general readings, everything might not apply to you, but just take it and apply it where it resonates. Let's get started. Welcome pole number 1 to your pick a card reading for this week. Let's have a look at what messages Spirit has for you this week. We have let go of comparison. We have lovingly speak your truth. We have the Sun, the Empress and the King of Wands. Wow. We have Swan Spirit, time for a deep dive, and we have Seahorse Spirit, watch and wait. That's very, very interesting. So straight off, just with these two spirit animal oracles, the Swan Spirit is asking you to take a deep dive, and their Seahorse Spirit is almost like, once you take that deep dive, you get to their Seahorse Spirit and it says watch and wait. I get the feeling, pole number 1, for you, there is a step you need to take. There is some form of action, and that can be external or internal, but there is a sense with this deep dive, I really feel there's something you need to throw yourself into. And then there'll be a time to just watch and wait, just to see what happens. It's almost like I'm getting the feeling that the universe is asking you, pole number 1, you need to take some steps so then it can bring things into your life. So let me give you something a bit more concrete in that, pole number 1. If you are looking for a rental property, you kind of need to go out and view properties and put your name down on lists. Then the universe will come in and bring you the right one for you. But it's that kind of action that I'm feeling. This could also be internal work. You know, if you've been thinking about meditating, Spirit's saying, meditate. There's something that's going to come through. So there's this sense of co-creating with Spirit. But I mean, Spirit can do whatever it wants to do, you know, it's limitless. But in our physical 3D world that we live in, you know, on Earth, it's limited. We live within parameters, and there's a law to those parameters, isn't there? You know, there's a law to the physics of this world. There's a law to the gravity. You know, we can't, no matter how elevated our mind is, gravity is what it is. So this is why we co-create with Spirit. If we were all in the ether, if you like, in the intangible, you know, we could think things and Spirit could make it happen for us straight away, but we don't. We live in a physical world, and we can't forget that, especially when we're on our spiritual journey. We tend to gravitate more towards the spirituality, and we sort of forget the physicality of the world, and sometimes that really blocks us. And I feel maybe for you, pole number one, maybe this sense that you're really vibrating at a much higher level than you used to, or you have a greater understanding than you used to. But there's a sense that Spirit's reminding you here that you still live in this physical world. You have a physical body, and that physical body, that humanness of yourself, has to abide by these, you know, earthly rules, if you like, for want of a better word. And that's why we co-create, because we have to take steps in this physical world so that Spirit, you know, can offer up these synchronicities, these things that we call chance or luck. That's Spirit. But there's a real sense here for you, pole number one. There's steps you need to take in the physical world. Now, as I said earlier, Spirit keeps reminding me. Now, for some of you, this is actual action that needs to be taken. So you need to put yourself out there in some kind of way. I'm seeing lists. That's why I think I brought up the example was like putting your name for rental properties, putting yourself on a list, because I keep seeing lists. So that could be, you know, you need to apply for different jobs, and just really, I'm just getting this sense of really putting yourself out there and like giving yourself plenty of options. And Spirit just said to me, actually, you're giving Spirit plenty of options. So for some of you, you might be really limited, and you might think, I just want that. And Spirit's kind of saying, well, apply for all of this and see what comes out, and trust that what you'll get is what you need right now. Now, for some of you, pole number one, this is going within. So there is something inside of you that you need to shift. Now, like I was saying earlier with the people that might just want this, Spirit's saying, you know, open your mind and go for a lot more. So that's internal work as well. That's shifting your if I can say tunnel vision, to expanding it out, having much more options, and then really trusting that Spirit will bring you what you need. You know, Spirit doesn't always bring us what we want, but it always brings us what we need. And sometimes we might find that it's better than we ever could have expected. And other times we feel like, oh my gosh, why am I on this path? And that's a learning path, that's a growing path. Those paths are so necessary, my friends, and we shy away from them because we often feel, as we're on our spiritual journey, as we awaken and as we have a better understanding, we do tend to fall into, if it doesn't feel right, it's wrong. But sometimes if it doesn't feel right, something within us needs to shift. Something within our perspective needs to shift. And there's this sense, pole number one, that this shifting perspective is really going to open doors up. It's going to open you up, for starters, so that you do apply for more things, or you do broaden your horizon. Spirit's just said to me, essentially what Spirit is trying to get you to do, pole number one, is to not place limits. So Spirit has just said to me, basically all of this is so that you do not place limits on yourself. The more options you choose, the more Spirit can come in and really deliver what you need right now. It's a really powerful message, and it feels really like the feeling associated with that is so strong. So and normally I start with these cards, but I was really like, the message came right here. So this is really something that I think is, if you've chosen pole number one, and I know this is a general reading, but somewhere, somehow in your life, pole number one, do not disregard this. It applies to you. So the overall energies for the reading is let go of comparison and lovingly speak your truth. Now I've started doing like a overall energy at both ends of the reading because I was just called to this is the overall energy and this is what it's guiding you to, basically. And I love how in the last few readings, I think there's only maybe one or two actually that I've done like this, but I'm finding the energy really flows really well, and I'm hoping that this overall energy at the tail end of the reading, where it's leading you, I'm really hoping that that really helps you and guides you further. So we've got 39, let go of comparison, embrace the unique you. Now, I'm not sure if you can actually read that. Embrace the unique you. And I'm wondering if that's why here Spirit's saying don't place limits on yourself. I just got the image of the ugly duckling. Now, strangely enough, I never found those little grey ducklings of a swan ugly at all. Or the cygnets, they're not ducklings, are they? They're cygnets. But I think they're beautiful and fluffy and gorgeous. But as the story goes, the ugly duckling, he thought he was ugly because he was comparing himself to ducklings. And there's a sense that in order to metamorphose into something beautiful, you must be yourself, pole number one. So there's a sense here of a little bit of, I'm getting the word going it alone. Because sometimes, when we embrace our uniqueness, sometimes it does move us away from people, places, the way that we were. And look at this green, that there's this healing energy of the green, but the border is red, and that is drive, and that is passion, and that is conviction, and that is, you know, and just in this card I'm getting doing it my way, being me, my way. And you know, the 39 turns into a 12 and then a 3. And 3 is a card of communication, a card of, you know, being with people. You know, it's communicating, it's fun, it's joy, but it's also community. That's the word I was looking for. Community and the people around you. And for some of you, I really feel Spirit saying, when you stop comparing yourself to others, when you embrace the unique you will automatically fit in better with where you are. And with others of you, pole number 1, it will enable you to find your tribe, your soul family. So for some of you, if you're feeling that you don't quite fit in, it's not because the people are wrong, it's because you're coming at them with please do not be offended, my friends, I'm just going to say it the way Spirit's delivered it to me, but with a certain level of fakeness. And we all do this. We all pretend to be a little bit not who we are. But that fakeness that you feel, pole number 1, for some of you, that you feel you need around this group, is actually what is causing this separation. For others of you, and I feel if you fall into this second group, I feel you may have already broken away from the people that no longer resonate with you. You've moved away, or they've fallen away, and you might actually find yourself quite alone, being uniquely you when you are out with others. Even if you're on your own, it doesn't matter. Be you, dress the way you want to dress, speak the way you want to speak. Just be you will actually attract the right people into your life. And it takes, you know, the red really stands out for me in all the green. So it takes a sense of healing what we feel is our own, I just had the word, inadequate, I'm not going to be able to say it now. I get so tongue-tied sometimes. But when we're not up to it, and you know, when we don't feel we are at the same level, inadequacies, oh, you know what I mean. I'm sure I'm sure you're all saying the word for me. And if you are, thank you, because I just can't get it out. But there's this sense of when you go past that, you know, it takes power, it takes conviction, it takes this boldness to go past what we feel are our shortcomings. So it takes healing them, and it takes, you know, sort of pushing through them and going, hey, you know what, I'm not hiding anymore, this is me, and here I am. And with the 3, you know, because the 39 is a 12 and then a 3, with that 3, it brings you great joy, pole number 1. There is great joy to be had here, but there's something you need to push through first. And I'm wondering if This deep dive is into your uniqueness. Are you limiting your options? Are you not going out there and putting your name down for lists or putting yourself out there for what you want to do because you feel inadequate? Thank you, Spirit. Inadequate. That is the word I was painfully trying to say earlier. Is it because you feel inadequate? Is it because you feel you won't be accepted? And the other side of that is 38, and it says, lovingly speak your truth. Vulnerability is strength. And I love that. I love that in this reading for you, pole number 1, because you have let go of comparison, embrace the unique you, and when you do, that enables you to speak your truth, and in a way that won't ostracize people. It won't offend. It will make you feel, this experience will make you feel vulnerable, but you're very quickly going to see the strength that is behind this. Again, look at these blues, you know. So there's a sense here of pole number 1. I'm even getting called to say, in what area of your life you feel vulnerable is the area of your life that you're going to have so much growth in. And you're going to find strength in that. So I really feel there's this sense of once you start, you broaden your horizon, you start putting your name down on lists, very quickly it's just going to be, it's not going to be something that's going to be hard to do anymore. It will strengthen you, it will give you more courage, and then you'll find that you will just naturally expand out. So for instance, if this is a job, instead of going for the jobs that you think, oh well, yeah, look, yeah, they'll take me, I'll just make do. You know, you'll start to apply for those. But the more you apply, the more I feel you're going to go for jobs that expand you, that will bring you growth, where you maybe don't know everything about it. You might not feel, so what I mean by that is you might not feel qualified for them. There's this sense that Spirit, in this deep dive, watch and wait. I think you're going to be so surprised, pole number 1, as to what Spirit brings you. Because we've got the Sun, the Empress, and the King of Wands. Now, you've got 2 major arcana. So this is Spirit. The major arcana for me, if you've been following me for a while, you know, it's how the universe co-creates with us. It's the part the universe plays in it. And then we've got the minor arcana, and that's the part we play in the co-creation with Spirit. Now you've got 2 to 1. And these are beautiful. I mean, together, it's prosperity. It's been seen as who you are, for who you are. It's having the resources, the opportunities, the people around you that you need. It's a green light. But it's a green light that is like, it opens the floodgates, if you like. So it's almost like you've been traveling down this narrow road, and then suddenly it's like, oh, you're here, beautiful. This is all for you. Take your pick. You can't go wrong. Spirit really wants to bring you so much, pole number 1. And there's a sense here that essentially you are limiting yourself. And I just got Spirit said, if you are playing the blame game, please stop pole number 1. And I know how easily we can get caught into that. But if you are blaming others, situations, weather, where you live, how much money you've got, whatever you might be seeing as a limit or something to blame, Spirit saying that's not at all the case. It's you. You need to take some steps. You need to either change your perspective, widen it, grow it, expand it, or you need, and generally that comes with physical action in the world. Because Spirit wants to bring you, I really want to say, a wish fulfillment. There's a sense here really of, gosh, what are you striving for, pole number 1? Because it's coming. It's literally knocking on the door, but you're just not opening the door. And I'm kind of getting the feeling that Spirit's saying, I can't do anything else. You know, it's like, I'm not going to say it exactly right, but there's a story of a man that prayed every day to God, please God, let me win lotto, please God, you know, there's so many good things I want to do with it, there's so many people that I can help, there's so many things I want to do, please God. Every night he prayed to God to win lotto, and God, you know, but he never stopped to hear. God was saying, please, my child, buy a ticket. And essentially, I know that's taken to the umpteenth degree, but pole number 1, that's what Spirit's saying to you. It's knocking on your door and you don't see it. Because what Spirit needs from you is the King of Wands. Now the Kings for me is that energy of having everything you need so you can give back to the world. Now the King of Wands here is being so full of his passions and what drives him, and you know, he's reached his hopes and his dreams and his goals. He's achieved them. And then he sets out and helps others to do the same, or to grow, or to follow their heart. And sometimes it can be physically teaching them, sometimes it can just be leading from example. And I feel in your reading, pole number 1, you haven't reached this king level yet. But Spirit's asking you to embrace that, to embrace the King of Wands, to embrace the energy that you have everything you need. Now, please, pole number 1, Spirit knows that you don't have everything you need, but it wants to bring it to you. You have to be open to receive. But it wants you to feel that you have everything, because this deep dive you need to take, you have everything you need to do that deep dive. The rest is coming. Spirit will bring you the rest. But you physically have to get yourself out there. You have to open the door. You have to move into the direction the wands is of your dreams and goals. What inspires you? What gets you out of bed in the morning? Move towards that. And this is not only physically, because sometimes we don't know the steps, but it's even in your mind, knowing that you can achieve this. And not only that you can achieve it, you will achieve it. You will achieve it. See yourself in that house. See yourself in that job. See yourself in that relationship, in that lifestyle. See this authentic you walking down the street, sitting at a cafe, talking to others. See it. If you can see it in your mind first, you can achieve it in the real world I mean, it's not that simple, but it's the first step. So pole number 1, Spirit wants to bring you something. Please open the door, my friends, because there's this sense of this unique you, and uniqueness in the way that you are and the way that you present and speak and communicate with the world. Oh, beautiful reading, pole number 1. Take good care of yourselves, my friends. Sending you lots of love and light. I'll see you next time. Bye-bye. Welcome, pole number 2, to your weekly pick a card reading. Let's have a look at what messages Spirit has for you this week. We have 41 with Rediscover Source. Come home and come alive. Oh, that's beautiful. And look at those purples. We have 4, accept loving support. Let yourself be held. Oh, Spirit really wants to connect with you, pole number 2. Really wants to be there for you. We have the Star. Now that's all about healing. We have the 9 of Pentacles, the 6 of Cups. We have Pig Spirit, use your mind wisely. And we have Turkey Spirit, give with gratitude and grace. Oh, I just got tingles, pole number 2. This, I just want to say, my friends, if you've picked pole number 2, I feel like you've had struggles recently, or there's a challenge in front of you that you might be struggling a bit with. There's this sense that Spirit just wants to help. Spirit just wants to be here for you. And please don't feel that you're alone in this. So that's a message that's just come through quite strongly. So my friends, if there are any of you that are feeling alone in a particular situation, please know that Spirit wants to carry you through this. It wants to bring joy back into, I was actually drawn to say back into you, and then my brain wanted to change that back into your life, but Spirit said no. So Spirit wants to bring back joy into you. I'm just looking at this, my little Buddha statue here. Now I actually, if you followed me before, I'm actually traveling around New South Wales house sitting. So I'm really limited with my suitcases and things like that. And when I saw him, I sort of thought, oh, I've got to grab him. And then I thought, no, it's just one extra thing to carry. And I put him back on the shelf, and I was walking out of the shop, and all I could see was his beautiful, beautiful, happy face. Just the way he's flung his arms back and just looking at the heavens. And I just felt so much love, so much joy, and so much gratitude in his little face that I actually had to turn around and go back and get him. And every time I look at him now, I am so grateful that I did, because it's this energy. We can't live in this energy all the time, but it's this sense of trust, of flinging your arms back and just saying, universe, I know you've got me. I know you do. I'm gonna take the knocks or the troubles, or I'm just gonna go with it, but I'm gonna stay joyful. I'm as best as I can. We can't always be joyful, of course, pole number 2, but I'm gonna take it all in my stride. And just as I was talking to you, his happy little face drew me to him again, and I feel there's a sense here, pole number 2, that just if you find yourself in your garden or in a pocket of nature or wherever, just fling your arms back, look at the heavens and trust. That's really what I'm getting in your message. Just trust. So we've got your overall energy, and how that overall energy, like where it's leading you to. So I like these two overall energies at each side of the reading, just so we can get like an overall energy for the reading, but where that overall energy is guiding you. So this is the overall energy that you are being guided towards. And so my friends, you have 41, rediscover source, come home and come alive. Now that's a 5. You know, 5 is all about change. And then you've got this 4, accept loving support, let yourself be held. And I wanted to say heard. So for some of you, maybe you need to speak up. Maybe there's a level of you that needs to be heard as well. So that's just a little message for some of you. But the card says, let yourself be held. Now the 4 is all about stability. It's all about our foundations. So there's this sense of, you know, source is very much the ether. You know, it's not, it's our beliefs, it's spiritual. But Spirit's saying that that will have such a profound like knock-on effect on your stability and how grounded you are in this world, how safe you feel in this world, how supported you feel in this world. There's a real sense here of re-tapping into something, pole number 2, that you've let go of. Now, it doesn't mean you have to get religious or you have to, you know, start praying or meditating or anything like that. But maybe ask yourself some questions on what, if somebody says source, what do you think of that? So what is source to you? What is all that is to you? And what can it do for you? Because Spirit's kind of saying to me, pole number 2, it's not like you've forgotten. It's not like you've, I mean, if you're following my readings, you've got to be, I mean, you don't have to be, but I'm assuming you're quite spiritual and you're along your journey of awakening, and, you know, you've already been through, you know, you're spiritually aware. Thank you, Spirit. Getting so tongue-tied in my readings today. But you're already spiritually aware. And I'm getting the feeling with this card, it's almost like not forgetting that source exists, that spirit exists. It's almost like you've forgotten to ask for help. You've forgotten what source can do for you. It's almost like you feel that it's you against the world, and Spirit's saying it's not literally, but it feels very much like you feel like you've got to figure it all out yourself, that you've got to do it all yourself, that, you know, have you forgotten that there's synchronicities in the world? You know, when you see something as, oh God, that was lucky, it's not luck, pole number 2. On some level, you co-created that with Spirit, whether you know it or not, whether you believe it or not, whether you're aware of it or not. But there's this sense of rediscover. It's not like discovering. It's not like coming at it for the first time. But there's a sense of going back to it and seeing more than you did the first time. And because the 41, it comes to a 5 in numerology, I'm really feeling there's this sense that it's going to change things for you, but in a big way. And the card says, come home and come alive. I'm wondering, pole number 2, if a lot of your worries, of course, they're going to be based in the tangible world, in, you know, in this reality, because that's where we live. But I'm wondering if a lot of it is caused by limiting yourself in some way. And in this reading, I'm kind of thinking it's probably limiting your beliefs. And not just in yourself, but I think in that there is something greater than us. You know, and, you know, there are some religions that you know, offer up teachings that, you know, the source is there to punish us and to keep track of what we do that is good and not good. There's this sense of, you know, a bit like a disciplinary master kind of thing. You know, you'll be rewarded if you do good and you'll be punished if you do bad. And again, of course, that's all relative, what's good and what's bad. But there's this sense of rediscovering your beliefs, expanding them. You know, I can't remember who it was. I think maybe Einstein said it, but please don't quote me on that. I'm terrible at remembering things like that. But you know, do you feel the universe is a friendly place? And then whatever answer you get, expand on that. Dig deeper. There's this sense of digging deeper. Now you've got the, I'll come back to accept loving support. I'll come back to that one. Now with the animal spirit, the spirit animal, you've got pig spirit, use your mind wisely, and turkey spirit, give with gratitude and grace. Now there's this sense with this rediscover source. Use your mind wisely. You know, we are just drawn to just talk about this. So I always do as I'm told. Well, mostly, especially when it comes to spirit. But there's this sense when we're on our spiritual journey that we are forever having to heal ourselves. Our mind is wrong, the way we do things is wrong, we feel bad if we have negative thoughts, we feel that we're doing things wrong if we feel sad one day, we feel that once we embrace our spiritual journey we should be above everything and we should float over the troubles of life. So if we were just a soul and all we had to do was discover our soul, yes, we would do that. But we are a physical body with a mind. And that is tied to the world. So it cannot just float above things. You know, if you are living with pain, you are living with pain. Yes, meditating, you know, elevating your mind, you're trying to lift your vibration can help, but the reality of this physical world is that your physical tangible body is in pain. So just to say, I'm not in pain, everything's fine, you're not only lying to yourself, but you're disrespecting an aspect of yourself. You're disrespecting your body. You're disrespecting your humanness. And there's this sense, pole number 2, use your mind wisely. Are you trying to trick yourself out of something? Or are you living like I first got this feeling of maybe going through a tough situation at the moment? Are you beating yourself up? Are you not only going through this difficult passage, but are you also beating yourself up because you feel like you should just float over the top of it? Spirit here is saying, no, that's not how we are made up of. Our soul will float across it, but not our physical body, not our mind. It's of this tangible world. And if you're not sure, the way I always think about it is the tangible, when we die, dies. It does not come with us. The intangible part of us lives forever. It will go, if you believe in that you have multiple lives, it will come back. Your soul will embody a different human form, a different mind, so it can experience lots of different things. But you can't disregard what you're going through now as, oh well, gosh, if I was enlightened, I should be sailing through this. I can't believe that I'm jealous. I can't believe that I'm resentful. I can't allow the anger to surface. Oh, goodness gracious, I'm enlightened. I don't get angry. We do. Our soul doesn't. Our soul can let that go. And that's why it's so important, pole number 2, that we tap into our soul. Because our soul guides us. It helps move us out of that energy. But our soul wants to experience things. So to be honest and truthful to ourselves, we must experience it. We must say, okay, well, look, this is where I find myself now. I'm going to feel it. I'm going to live it. Of course, I'm not going to just sink into it and say, well, look, that's my lot. I'm just going to sit here forever. No, we work out ways to move through it. And that's what our soul does. That's what Source does. That connectiveness, that all that is, guides us through those experiences so we can move past them. And this give with gratitude and grace, I'm just feeling this, pole number 2, it's for you. It's to give yourself gratitude and grace. And it's also to see how the universe gives you that. I keep getting this sense, pole number 2, that you're being held. You're being held and you're being guided through. And there's this sense of trusting that. Because look at this tarot. It's amazing. You've got the Star, the 9 of Pentacles, and the 6 of Cups. Now, the 6 of Cups is your childhood. It can be your childhood dreams, happier times. Definitely denotes the past, but childlike wonder as well. You know, there's this sense, pole number 2, of just because you can't see it doesn't make it not real. Believing in things because they resonate with you, not because you can physically see them and explain them to somebody. I mean, our beliefs, as long as they hurt nobody and we don't try to impose them on anybody, our beliefs are our beliefs. And there is a sense that our beliefs guide us along the path that we walk. No belief is silly or too childish. If it makes you smile, if it brings you joy, why not? And there's this sense that, you know, Spirit, because we're starting with the major arcana here, and this is how Spirit's part in our co-creation. And then we've got, this is us. This is the minor arcana. This is how we co-create with Spirit. Spirit is guiding you to more joyful times again, to lighter times. Less burden I'm feeling. And a little bit more childlike, a little bit, that's what I mean by lighter. It's less like lighter, it's lightening your load. You're going to have less burdens, you're going to have less worry. The Star card is, you know, how the universe helps us heal for me, but it's also the universe, how it wants us to be more visible in the world. Because the star can be like, you are a star, you know, you're being looked at, people can see you. The Star card for me as well, with this balancing of water, it's also this energy of balance, but it's not really balancing, it's realigning. So yes, thank you, Spirit. So not balancing things out as in things were out of balance, but it's realigning you. It's putting you back so that there's not too much, you know, it's almost like there's a drought and a flood. You know, the Star card is here to say, let me take the water from the flood and replenish the drought areas. So there's this sense of, the Star card denotes no lack to me, but there's a sense of visibility in it as well, not being scared to be who you are. She's naked in the card, and that shows that there's nothing to hide behind, there's nothing to, and there's this sense, pole number 2, that when you rediscover, I'm just really feeling your beliefs, what ignites you. It could even be your calling, or, you know, you've probably had it in the past and you let it go because you thought it was silly or childish. And there's this sense of finding this direction again, I'm getting with this Star card, this real sense of realigning. And Spirit saying, the way that I'm seeing it with this drought and this flood, and you know, balancing the water so there's not too much in either way, I'm just really seeing that as Spirit saying, you have what you need. There won't be too much or too little. You'll find the way. You know, and I don't even know if I've ever noticed this bird in the Star card, but I'm noticing it today. And I'm feeling like, you know, it's the bird, like, you know, from Noah's Ark, you know, that went out and came back with, I think it was a little olive branch. And it was like, you know, it's guiding your way. It's telling you, okay, look, it maybe doesn't look great where you are now, but the direction that you're heading in here, there's abundance. You know, the olive tree is a sign of abundance. And there's this sense of, it's not that you have to tell people what your beliefs are. You have to, but I feel that you have to acknowledge it to yourself. Pole number 2, there's this sense of being authentic to you. And really look at, you know, I also just got called to go back to these two. Rediscover source and pig spirit. Use your mind wisely. It's like, does your mind, the way that you think, does it actually link with what you believe in? Because the reason that I'm saying that, pole number 2, is because Spirit has just said to me, there are some of you that really believe, you know, you trust and you believe that you're being helped along your journey and you're not in it alone. But when it comes to your mindset, everything that you tell yourself is, oh, I'm going to stuff this up. Oh, I've just got to do it this way. Oh, and nobody will ever help me. Or your mind doesn't line up with your beliefs. There's this kind of, I've just got the word discrepancy. So there's a sense of making sure you're, with this star card, I got putting you back in alignment, which is not maybe a usual way of looking at the star, though it can be because of its healing energy that comes from the star. But I'm kind of getting the feeling, pole number 2, it's this difficulty that you're going through now is to enable you to get to the other side and to shine. But there's this sense of this discord in you that just won't allow it to happen. And you've got the 9 of Pentacles, and after the star card, it's basically saying move forward, keep going, trust. But not only just trust when you pray, or trust when you meditate, or trust when you're asking for help, when you're asking for help is, I guess, a form of praying, but trust when you're out in the physical world. Trust when you're putting in a job application. If this job is for me, I will get it. And then if you don't get it, not to go, oh, well, I'm a loser and I'll never get anything. No, you've got to trust at that end as well. You've got to trust that you didn't get it because it wasn't for you. I hope you're getting that subtle nuance that Spirit is trying to bring forward about how there's a little imbalance. And I think that last one was perfect. Going for the job and saying, oh, I'm going to go for it. If I get it, it was meant for me. If I don't, it's not. But then when you don't get it, you don't hold on to that thought. You don't go, oh, well, it wasn't meant for me. You kind of say, oh, well, I didn't say this right, and I should have said this, and oh, I didn't look the part, and if I was thinner, if I was prettier, if I was taller, if I was smarter, that kind of thing. See how they don't match. And go back and see. Come home and come alive, this card says. And there's this sense of coming back to your beliefs, rediscovering them, and then coming out into the world with this mindset that reflects. That's internal work. That's not the thing of a week, my friends. That's internal work. That takes time because you're trying to reprogram your mind. You're trying to reprogram those habits, those thoughts that are so rapid, they're so quick that they come out even before we have time to actually really acknowledge them. But the 9 of Pentacles here is saying you'll have everything you need along this journey. Trust. The universe will bring you what you need in order to get you where it wants you to be, this much lighter energy. And I'll just go back a bit to this card. So it says, accept loving support. Let yourself be held. And pole number 2, that's all you need. Especially this week. Just know that you are being supported. Know that Spirit is there. And even if you have no support in the physical 3D world, Spirit's there. Let yourself be held. Trust. There's a level of trust and gratitude in this reading, pole number 2. If that's all you can manage this week, that's all you need to manage. Just trust. And just remember, my friends, you're being held. You're being supported. You're being guided. Allow yourself to be comforted by that. Allow yourself to be held. And what Spirit means by allow yourself to be held, it means, if a chair, a couch, let's say an armchair. An armchair can only hold and support you if you sink into it and you lean back on it. If you sit at the very edge of it, the comfiness of the armchair is lost. But when you sink back into it, that's when you're being held. And that's what Spirit is asking. I'm going to leave you with those messages, my friends. Love and light, pole number 2. Take good care of yourselves, and I'll see you next time. Bye-bye, my friends. Hello, pole number 3. Welcome to your weekly reading. Let's have a look at what messages Spirit has for you this week. We have 27, speak with loving kindness, words matter. We have ground yourself, be in your body. That's interesting messages. We have the 2 of Cups. We have the 5 of Wands and the Page of Swords. We have Fox Spirit, think on your feet. And we have Ant Spirit, time to collaborate. Okay, it's interesting. Interesting energies, actually. So we have speak with loving kindness, words matter. Excuse me, everybody, sorry. And ground yourself, be in your body. So we have a 9 and a 6. A 9's very much about endings. You know, the finishing something up. And the 6 is very much about, you know, the people that surround us, family, our home, you know, working from home, that kind of thing. And I get the feeling there's this sense that there'll be things you might need to say, pole number 3. But Spirit's just saying there is a nice way to say them. There's a sense here of watch the way you speak to people. It's saying words matter, but I'm also getting that our tone matters, how we say it. And Spirit's just said also not just how we say it, but from what place we are saying it. Are we saying our words from a place of love and wanting to be of service, or are we saying our words just to make them impact and maybe from a place of anger? And there's a sense here of ground yourself, be in your body. Now with both of these energies, actually pole number 3, I don't know if you're actually, I'm just seeing arguments, I'm just seeing anger and arguments and disagreements and things like that. You've also got the 5 of Wands here, which can be disputes and just, I guess, people rubbing us up the wrong way and us reacting to it. So I'm being drawn, pole number 3, to ask you, with whatever is challenging you in your life at the moment, it could be other people, it could be situations, it could be even yourself. You know, we challenge ourselves sometimes. We just get annoyed with ourselves. We might not be feeling capable, we might not be feeling able, we might be feeling ill, like we might be sick or injured, and we have to be more patient than we usually are with ourselves. We might be moving slower, but there's this sense of being irritated at something. So outside situation, outside people, or yourself. Now, I call those triggers. Whenever we get annoyed at something, even if that annoyance or that anger or that disappointment or whatever the emotion is, even if it's valid, even if it's So I'm just seeing you sitting with a group of friends talking about, and everybody's going, oh my gosh, that would make me so mad too. So even if it's valid, what is it telling you? So I'm not saying, and this is something that Spirit's really telling me to really insist upon, it has nothing to do about whether it's valid or not. It has nothing to do about whether sorry everybody, sorry pole number 3, I'm just trying to find the right way, because Spirit is being very insistent that this message come across so that you can take it and really apply it and really understand it. So if you are angry, or if you are triggered by a situation, another person, or yourself, it's to ask you to look deeper within yourself. So it's not asking you to justify it. So you don't have to prove that you are allowed to be in this energy. You don't have to justify it to yourself. You don't have to justify it to others. You don't have to justify it to Spirit, and certainly not to Spirit. Spirit's saying. But there's a sense here of when something triggers an emotion in us, and that is our sign to go, okay, what's that about? Not so, then we can change the direction of our anger. So it's not that if you are getting annoyed at yourself, it's not so that you can redirect that annoyance, it's something else, so you've got something to blame. Or if you're angry at somebody, not so that you redirect the anger to yourself. There's this sense that Spirit's saying, especially this week, pole number 3, this is not about justifying, not about blaming. There's something here that is wanting to surface in you. There's something here that wants to come up from something deep inside of you. Something that is possibly an old wound, but it could be something from a past life. It can be even ancestral kind of, traumas. So they don't have to be something in this life. And Spirit's saying to me, that doesn't even matter. Where it has come from doesn't even matter. There's this sense that this week, pole number 3, the most important thing you can do is to be loving and to ground yourself. Be present. The more present you can be, the more, already a pole number 3, there's a certain level here of being grateful as well, because Spirit's just said to me, this is your heads up. You will now, if you've watched this video, you will now, if this applies to you, you will now know that there's going to be a situation that's going to rub you up the wrong way. But because you're aware of it, you might just take that 10-second pause that's giving you just enough time to not just hurl a bunch of words at somebody that you will later regret. This can be aimed at yourself as well. There's going to be this sense that you're just going to go, you're going to open your mouth to retaliate, but in that opening your mouth, it's going to make you take a deep breath in. It's going to re-enter you into your body. It's going to bring you back down to your physical self, and it's going to make you go, oh. Now, Spirit's saying we're all different. We're all on different sections of our journey. We're kind of all on different timelines really for our spiritual journey. So you might spit those words out. You might catch them just in time. It doesn't matter. Spirit, this message has come for you this week, and I know, I'm sorry, pole number 3, it's not one of these wonderful glowing messages, but you know what? These moments in our life is what propels us forward. It's these aha moments, and this is like, if I had to write a caption for your week, pole number 3, it would be an aha moment that leads you to a new beginning. You've got a 9, you've got a 1, you know, you've got the Page of Swords. There's this sense that this realization, whether you hurl these words out or not, it almost doesn't change anything. Of course, if you didn't say the words, it would be less painful. You might have like less apologizing or less, you know, mess to clean up afterwards. But essentially, it's to get you to see. And pole number 3, that's what Spirit's saying. There's just something you need to see. There's something bubbling in the depth of you that needs to come out, and there's going to be things in your life that are going to trigger you. You know, I just see the ants. You know, if you leave a bit of food out, you'll get 1 ant, and then the next day you'll have 10, and then within 3 days you've got hundreds of ants. And it's almost like that. I just see it as waves that are going to come, and they're going to get bigger and more numerous, and until you see it. So there's this sense of slow down. Definitely slow down, pole number 3. If you've picked pole number 3, take this week as slowly and as gently as you can, and oh my goodness, be kind to yourself. And do whatever you can. We all have different ways. You know, this ground yourself card, be in your body. How are you in your body? Is it taking a bath? Is it eating comforting food? Is it cozying up somewhere and reading a book? Is it exercising, running, having a shower? How do you get into your body? How do you ground yourself? And I'm not seeing this just as in grounding yourself, but I'm seeing it as in nurturing yourself as well. How do you bring yourself back to calm? That's grounding. When we are grounded, we're calm. You know, you think of a tree being grounded, it's stable. It doesn't, you know, it's not like a bendy reed. It doesn't bend all over the place. It's where it is. It's anchored. It's strong. And it's that kind of energy that Spirit's asking you to embrace. That kind of energy, because these 2 cards are your overall energy for the week, and I have one at each end because I like to see how they flow through the cards. But there's this sense of speak with loving kindness. Words matter. Be careful of what you say. And I feel that this ground yourself, it's almost like saying the more you can be grounded, the more you can feel nurtured and stable and strong, the more you're less likely to just kind of feeling lose control. Now with the Spirit Animal Oracle, we've got Fox spirit. Now here's another 9. So you've got two 27s. So this 9 is important in when it's interesting actually, because when we are really triggered with things, it's emotions, sometimes it's like past traumas or something we need to work through. Once we work through it, once we see it and go, oh, that's why I do that, or that's why I believe that. When we work through it, it brings an ending. And you've got that 27 twice, you've got that 9 twice, and then you've got a 1. And the Page of Swords, I kind of see that as a 1 as well, like the new beginning, the early stages of something. So there's this sense that Spirit wants to move you along your path, pole number 3. And this week it's going to be the triggers that are going to get you to see. So we have Fox Spirit, think on your feet, and we have Ant Spirit, time to collaborate. Now I find this energy is really beautiful together, and look at this red and green. You've got the blue and the red, which is very throat chakra, root chakra. You've got your root chakra and you've got your heart chakra. So very much root chakra, and then very much sort of healing, you know, healing through our actions with our heart and through our words. And there's this sense that think on your feet. I'm kind of seeing that as in think before you speak, especially with this speak with loving kindness, words matter. Think before you speak. Now I know the fox is cunning, and I know this card generally has a different meaning, but that's how I'm feeling it in your reading, pole number 3. Don't put your foot in your mouth, because essentially, initially you might feel that you have a right to say what you want to say, but essentially it's not coming from a good place, and you're just going to put your foot in your mouth. You'll be able to clean it up. I'm by the messages and by the feelings of the cards. If you mess up, you'll be able to fix it up. So please don't worry about that. But Spirit's just trying to make you aware that the triggers, it's not the, if you cannot see the problem in the people. So if this is people that are triggering you, pole number 3, see past the person and see that person as a messenger. And that person is triggering you in order for you to see something. If it's a situation, same thing. If it's you and you're just getting annoyed at yourself, see it as the same thing. Take the personal part out of it and see it for what it is. See the situation as a message. And for some of you, I feel that whatever started off as a bit of a disagreement in the lightest and full out dispute, like kind of like a fight with somebody or a disagreement with somebody, or just this, I just want to say, just it's almost like everything's getting misunderstood, everything's getting misconstrued, like you're saying one thing and somebody else is coming back completely different, and you're thinking, I didn't even say that, I don't even know what you're talking about. You've got to think that if that's the way you're receiving it, they're probably receiving it the same. So there's going to be miscommunications. There's just going to be things that, you know, just little things that just make us as humans so angry. If you can think of little situations like that, that's sort of what it's going to be like. It's nothing big or catastrophic or anything. It's just going to be like these little ants that just bug the hell out of you, pole number 3. And Spirit's, you know, I'm laughing because, I mean, it's so annoying. We've all been there. But it ends up being an anthill. it ends up being something so small. But it's to get you to see something. And this collaboration, this one card, is the situation, or yourself, pole number 3, that you've been so fighting against, is actually what is going to help you the most. So if you are so mad, if you're not feeling well, like if you're ill at the moment, or you have an injury or something like that, and you're so mad that you can't move about properly and you're finding yourself so slow and it's just annoying you, know that that is what's going to bring you the most amount of healing. These are people that just annoy you, and just everything's just hard. Communication breaks down, and just these little hassles. That's what's going to bring you the greatest opportunity to move forward for greater understanding. Same if it's a situation in your life. Spirit keeps saying to me, see them as messages. Messengers and messages. Because when you see it, you will never be able to unsee it. So whatever you're growing, whatever you're changing, whatever you're overcoming, and it can be longer than a week, but I think definitely this week is going to bring you a lot of awareness, or definitely the emotion will be here this week. And if you can work through that, it'll certainly guide you in the next few weeks to actually shift and really get this aha moment, because that's really where this is moving to. So pole number 3, it'll be very interesting to see the readings next week and to see what pile you pick next week and what message will be in there, and see if it's a progression, see if it's something about your calling, or something about new goals, or something new. Because interestingly enough, I'm going to read these two together. We've got the 2 of Cups and the 5 of Wands. And the 2 of Cups is partnership. It's coming together. It's assistance. It can be love. But it's definitely an exchange. And it's uplifting. It's helpful energy. Especially that's how I'm going to see it in your reading. And then next to the 5 of Wands, I'm almost tempted to say people that you got along with really well before, or situations that you were really happy with before, are the ones that are really going to bug you the most this week. So if it's your partner, if it's a job that you loved, like it's something, this is a lovely card. But I'm feeling it in your reading, pole number 3, and next to this 5 of Wands. This is not nasty. This is, they're not fighting with swords. They don't want to kill each other. They're almost in training. They're almost, they're pretending, if you like, but it's a bit more, they're practicing. And yeah, sometimes you can get hurt when you're practicing, but it's not mean. Thank you, Spirit. It's not mean. It's not intended to hurt you or damage you in any way. This situation, these people, this person, it's just happening just to get you to see. It's another awakening. It's like your spiritual awakening. I mean, we have so many, we think, we have one spiritual awakening and then that's it, we're done. No. We awaken, and then we always grow, and we evolve, and we change, and we expand. And every time we have this big shift, I call that another spiritual awakening. It's another leveling up. It's another change. And that's really what your reading is about, pole number 3. It's about the challenges we face in order to be woken up. Because if everything runs smoothly, if everything's calm and settled, and why would we move? You know, if you're washing your hands in perfectly warm water, why would you touch either of the taps? You wouldn't. But if it was too hot, you'd put the cold on. So you're readjusting. If it's too cold, you might turn the hot tap on. So we are only called to tweak things when they're not right. So this energy has to happen in our life, and it doesn't matter how awakened you are, how high you're vibrating. I think the only difference it makes is as we progress along our spiritual journey, I just find we more quickly understand what's going on. Somebody might annoy us and we might think, oh gosh, what's gotten into them today? And we might be a little bit annoyed, but then we're very quickly to go, oh, it's nothing to do with me, it's about them. Or it's, you know, very quickly we might just confront them instead of holding on to it and starting to think, oh, what's wrong with them? What did I do? We might just go, hey, I notice you're a bit off today. Can I help? You know, so it changes because we have changed. But we still have those situations happen to us. That's life. That's what being on this earth, in this physical body, is all about. And Spirit, for you, pole number 3, you've got the Page of Swords. It wants you to... The swords are ideas. And they can be our intuition as well. They're all linked with our mind and how we think and our thoughts and all that kind of thing. How we analyze things, our logic. And there's this sense that, and the pages are on a new journey. So the Page of Swords has just accepted the Ace of Swords and is now in the stage of, okay, oh, right, how am I going to do this? How do I, you know, it's not the stage of moving forward. For me, the Knights are the ones that take action. But it's that beginning planning stage of going, oh, so it's excitement and it's fear. And you swing between the two constantly, because one minute you're, oh, I can't wait, this is the best opportunity. And the next minute you're like, oh my gosh, I don't know what I'm doing, because you're at the very beginning. But it's like Spirit is guiding you to this new beginning. It's guiding you to this new path, I want to say. And I feel with the sword like this is realigning you with your next path, with where you're going to next. So it could be realigning you with your passions and your dreams. It could be realigning you with the people that you love. It could be realigning you with a place that you love. And whatever triggers you get, I mean, because it's a general reading, pole number 3, so that you could be triggered in a million different ways. Just know that you're just being nudged to a new path. But Spirit wants you to see. It's not just to get you to shift into a different direction. It's getting you to shift into a different direction, but with a greater understanding and a greater understanding. I'm going to leave you with those messages, my friends. Love and light. Have a wonderful week. Just be calm and do things that you love this week as much as you can. Pole number 3, it'll help ground you. Love and light, my friends. See you next time. Bye-bye. Welcome, pole number 4. Let's have a look at what messages Spirit has for you this week. We have release inattention, move into fluidity. That's interesting. We have uncover the treasures of your hidden heart. A rich bounty awaits. Oh, I love these two energies together. Okay, that's nice. We have the 8 of Swords, the Hierophant, and Justice. We have dolphin spirit, this and that are true. And co-spirit, crow spirit, co-create with spirit. Oh, beautiful energy. Oh, I love it when like the cards just repeat. So this message repeats here and repeats here. So spirit is being very, very clear with your reading, pole number 4. Very clear. Now, these are your overall energies, and I like to have an overall energy at the beginning and at the end of the reading, just so we can see how the energy moves through the reading. And you have 21, release inattention, move into fluidity, and 19, uncover the treasures of your hidden heart, a rich bounty awaits. Now, when we flow, because basically this card is saying flow with life. Move into fluidity means move into the flow. Release inattention, let go. So there is this really strong sense in your reading, pole number 4, that the most important thing, the only thing you need to embrace this week is this attitude of letting go. And it's a mindset, it's an attitude, it's a belief. And letting go sounds so easy when we say, oh, just let go, just let it go. But to do it, it's not. It takes so much trust. And I love how there's grey in this card. I just think, and the yellows as well, because it's very solar plex, to go with the flow. You have to trust yourself, and you have to trust spirit. That yellow is your solar plex is your power center. It's your belief in yourself. And I love the grey, because the grey it's not black and white. It never ever is. There's always so many things we work through. We've got fears and we've got doubts, and and to go with the flow is not easy as a human being. But it is so important in this reading, my friends. And then you've got uncover the treasures of your hidden heart, a rich bounty awaits. Spirit, the flow is required, pole number 4, in order for you to find this bounty. Now, that bounty will be different for everybody. That bounty is hidden in your heart, because it's your heart that holds on to the truth of who you are and what you want. So this is not a bounty that will make you look good to others. This is not a bounty that is based of the ego. It comes from your heart. And the more I look at this card, to me it just looks like an eyeball. I know that may sound really weird to some of you, but I just feel like that's an eye looking at me. And I'm kind of getting the feeling like it's your inner eye, like your third eye. But I don't want to say your third eye, because the colors in the card are all orange, but it's like the eye of your heart. It's like your heart sees. Thank you, Spirit. Your heart sees. And also see what your heart is saying. And it says uncover. So I feel that these dreams, this treasure, I feel like it's hidden from you. Or you've been hiding it, or maybe you've not even been hiding it, but maybe you've just never saw it as a possibility to anything. you know, that could amount to anything. Or maybe it was just something that passed through your mind one day and you let it go and you kind of think, oh, that's nothing, that's just a bit of fantasy or whatever. But there's this sense that you need to uncover it. So there's this sense in your reading, pole number 4, that you need to uncover what your heart is drawing you to. But a rich bounty awaits. Trust. And I feel that trust, especially with this 8 of Swords here, I feel that trust is really difficult for you at the moment. Pole number 4, I feel like being told to trust in, it's a general reading, so whatever situation you find yourself in, but I feel like it's a lot to ask you at the moment, and Spirit knows that. But it's asking you to trust anyway. It's asking you to go with the flow. So if you find that you're pushing, if you find that you're kind of like, oh, moving against the current, it's time to let that go. It's time to stop. And I'm really seeing that in these colors, like it's just time to stop. Look at all this red. Stop. Stop. Spirit wants to take you. But, you know, pole number 4, we all have free will. And our free will is the most important thing, or one of the most important things in the universe. It will never be broken. So Spirit will never break that. And if you're heading off in this direction, it might show you, it might make the road a little bit more difficult. It might bring you triggers, but essentially it's guiding you. It's guiding you in a different direction. But you have to say yes. You have to go with the flow or not. That's up to you. Pole number 4, if you were drawn to pole number 3, go watch that, because it's almost like that could be another stage of this. Though I feel like pole number 3 might be just at that stage before you, leading into this. Yeah, it might have messages in there that might help you along. So we have Dolphin Spirit, this and that are true, and Crow Spirit, co-create with Spirit. Now this message is so clear, like whatever you believe is true. Now, that statement is just okay, just a statement. It's just a sentence. Whatever you believe in is true. But in a quiet moment after the reading, or if you want to pause this video right now, I want you to ask yourself, what does that mean? Whatever I believe in is true. And how does that fit? How does that fit with you? I'm a great believer in journaling because I find it gets it out of your head and it gets it onto paper where you can see it. But even journal that. Whatever you believe in is true. What do you believe in? Do you want that to be your truth? This and that are true. And that doesn't mean that your beliefs are the ultimate truth of the universe. No, they're true to you. They can be totally wrong to somebody else. It doesn't matter, they're true to you. They will impact your life. And co-create with Spirit. I think the majority of you do believe that, but for some of you, Spirit's asking, do you believe that? And for others, it's like, do your beliefs ring true with this co-creation? Do you believe? Because sometimes we believe things, and then when we look deeper into it, our truths don't align with them. I was saying in poll number 3, I gave an example of going for a job and saying, well, I'm going to apply for it. If I get it, it was meant to be, and if I don't, it was never mine. And then not getting the job, and then saying to yourself, oh, I wasn't good enough. I made so many mistakes during the interview. Oh, I stuffed up. That somehow that's your belief. You tell yourself that what is meant to be yours will always be yours, but your beliefs don't match that. Because if they matched, when you didn't get the job, you would be like, oh, well, that wasn't meant for me. You wouldn't beat yourself up that somehow it was your fault. You wouldn't make it your fault. And that's not to say that you think you're perfect all the time, or you didn't make any faults, any errors in your audition or your job interview or whatever. But it's if you believe that what is yours will be yours, when things are not yours, you don't beat yourself up about it. There's this sense of trusting and letting go, because Spirit wants to bring you something. Poll number 4, that's this reading in a nutshell, and I'm breaking it down because I like my readings to be more than just predictions, or more than just energies you can take with you in the week ahead. I want it to be guidance as well. I want them to help you see how we hinder ourselves sometimes, how we make things hard for ourselves, or how we can be kinder to ourselves, kinder to others, and things like that. So I like the messages to be a little bit more in depth than just, hey, go with the flow, because Spirit wants to bring you something amazing. Because it's okay. How do I go with the flow? How do I become more trusting? And it's really seeing those underlying things that we say to ourselves that stops us from going with the flow, or stops us from trusting. And we've all got them. Oh, we don't, I think if we sat down, take us ages to try and think of them all, but they just go through our mind in a sense that when we're not aware, when we're not paying attention to them, they're thick and fast sometimes. But there's this sense of becoming aware, poll number 4, becoming aware, so you can see, because this dolphin spirit really want this and that are true. So what is true to you? This is also a card of your perception. If you perceive something to be one way, that's how it is. If you perceive it to be another, that's how it'll be. And there's this that really, that Spirit wants you to be really aware of. Because Spirit wants to co-create something amazing with you. And it's here. Look at these 2 major arcana. That's Spirit. So it's got the Hierophant and the Justice. That's Spirit's energy. And you're here in the 8 of Swords. Now that's not to beat you up. That's not to say to put you down in any way, poll number 4. But if life's been tough, it's not suddenly Spirit's left you and is not communicating with you anymore, or is not around, or is not helping you. It's that you've kind of tied yourself up a little bit, and you just can't hear spirit or see spirit, or some of you might even be your belief is waning, like you just think, oh, all this is just mumbo jumbo. And if you believe it, it's true for you. This and that are true. So what is your this and that? And are you sometimes this at one end and that on the other, like I said with the job interview? Do you go into things with this mindset of what will be, flowing, trusting, and then when it doesn't come out your way, do you ditch all that trusting and flow and then become a bit like disappointed, lost, fearful? Because look at this energy. So for you that have been with me for a while, you know that the major arcana for me is what spirit does to co-create with us, and the minor arcana is what we do to co-create with spirit. So it's you know, in tarot it's all about this co-creation, and you got 2 to 1. So spirit is here in a big way in your life at the moment, pole number 4, in a big way. But look how up front these cards are. They're both direct and facing us. Truth, honest, there. Not only are you turning away from them, but you're blindfolded. And you've kind of put up all these defenses. I just got, are some of you afraid of succeeding, of moving forward, of winning? Are some of you afraid of growing and evolving? Now, when somebody says that first of all to you, you might think, oh, that's totally stupid. But if you think of it a little bit deeper, it could be that if you get that promotion, your colleagues at work might not be so friendly towards you because suddenly you're their boss. So it's going to change the dynamics. So then it's going to change the friendships. And you might be worried about that. If you earn more money than your partner, could that make, you know, the balance between things a little bit more, you know, might unsettle things? Wanting to move away from your family. You know, it's a great opportunity to live in a place that you think is amazing, but then you have to say goodbye to people. So success, you know, when people say, oh, you might be afraid of success, well, yeah, sometimes we're afraid of fulfilling our dreams, because then what? And some of us might be afraid of fulfilling our dreams because they have a contrast to them, because they have, well, this comes with it. But here with the Hierophant and with Justice, a spirit saying that whatever you see as frightening, or I don't think I can do this, I don't know how to move forward, I don't think I'm good enough, I can't see my way out, in, sideways, backwards, I'm just really stuck. I don't know how to make the decision. What's the best? What's the best thing? What is the best solution? Will I be letting people down? Will I be letting myself down? Am I making everything hard? There's so many questions. I've got all these questions that are just flooding into my brain, pole number 4. And it's this sense that this is the energy that you're in now. This is not an energy, my friends, of flow. This is an energy of inattention, 1000%. And Spirit's asking you to release that inattention, and to give yourself more breathing space. You know, maybe loosen these ties first so you can breathe and you can, you know, and then take the blindfold off so you can see. You can go, okay, I'm okay. And then one by one remove the swords. And these swords are these questions, the agony of the mind, the tension, the whole what if. Spirit saying here, what if? What are your what ifs? Is there a what if that is a rich bounty, that's a treasure? What if? You'll never know if you don't give it a go. The Hierophant and Justice here is the Spirit, you know, twofold, threefold. The Hierophant is the truth, and so is Justice. You know, they're both about truth. This is, it can be hierarchy, it can be a tradition. It's definitely spirituality, and I just find in your reading, I just find both these cards are spirit. And I just feel with the Hierophant, like if we look at this as tradition, as past experiences, the past, and Justice as in the universe, Spirit is bringing justice. It's realigning everything. Everything that you have gone through is bringing you to this new place of bounty, abundance. We are never more frightened than when we're on the cusp of doing something. So if you really think about it, we are very frightened before we say yes or no to something. So let's say we've decided to speak publicly, and somebody has said, look, I think what you do is great, will you come and speak at this conference? You are so afraid before you say yes or no. So let's say that you say yes. The fear has peaked, and then you're nervous. But the fear kind of dissipates. Then you're busy preparing, and you're nervous at what you're going to say, and so it's more apprehension. And then the fear, as you go out to speak, the fear comes back tenfold. So just before you take an action, the fear is at its peak. And then after that, it's kind of excitement and worry, and there's this sense that Spirit's here guiding you to say you wouldn't be getting these opportunities, you wouldn't be getting what is coming into your life if you weren't ready. There's this sense of you've come through so much, pole number 4. I just get this feeling like Spirit is saying you've been through a lot, you've grown so much, And it's almost like everybody can see it, but you can't. And so it's almost like these new opportunities that Spirit is aligning for you. It's kind of like you're looking at them from where you were previously, before you had this growth, this expansion, and you can't do it. But you're not looking at how you've changed. So you need to let go. You need to just breathe out and see what is true for you now. Where am I headed now? Where do I want to head in now? Really, I think this dolphin spirit, these two, release inattention, move into fluidity. I see that as trust and let go. And the dolphin spirit, this and that are true. What are your truths? Are the two biggest things, biggest messages in your reading, pole number 4. Because if you can do that, the rest will unfold. This will all fall away. You'll still be nervous. You'll still worry. We're human. Of course we will. We'll still be afraid. But not stuck. It's very different being afraid and being stuck as to being afraid and moving forward. Because one has an end, the other one doesn't. So when we are stuck and afraid, we're stuck and afraid. And if we don't take action, we'll always be stuck and afraid. Whereas if we go back to the public speaking, you're afraid, but you're moving forward, but you're afraid. So once you've done your speech, it's finished. It's gone. And the next time you'll still be afraid, but less. Or you might be apprehension, but not so afraid. But you've moved through it. But Spirit really, there's something knocking on your door, pole number 4. There's something coming to you. And Spirit wants you to embrace it just with open arms. Look at where your truths are. Try to go with the flow as much as possible. If you feel excitement and fear, say yes. If you feel nothing, say no. Trust your intuition. Trust what guides you for what is yours and what opportunities are meant to be and opportunities that are not meant to be. Trust those. There's this sense of this moving through. And remember, pole number 4, the final card, the final overall energy is uncover the treasures of your hidden heart. A rich bounty awaits. It's all about rediscovering you, who this person is. And you'll do that by letting go, by just trusting where your intuition is guiding you. These new dreams, these new passions that are bubbling up inside of you that you almost don't even know where they've come from. Trust those. Your heart, it's always been awake, but you're feeling it awaken, and that Spirit opening it up so you can move forward. I'm going to leave you with those messages, pole number 4. Love and light, my friends. Have a wonderful week. Take good care of yourselves, and I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.